Hey guys, Brancham Brown here, physical therapist, CrossFit coach, and wellness coach with Get Your Fix Physical Therapy. Wanted to talk today, just go over the anatomy part of front rack position, the things that play a role in being able to get into a comfortable front rack position, being able to maintain that front rack position in a comfortable manner without getting any sort of pain or compensations going on. If you are watching this live, because I'm screen sharing, I cannot see any comments. So if you do comment on this, I will just get to them later and answer all your questions that you have. So as far as, we're going to start with the upper back area, and then we'll work our way down. Starting with the joints and getting to muscles. And excuse the background noise, I'm not at my office. So starting with, in order to get the arms up into a good front rack position, this thoracic spine, that upper back area from the top of the rib cage to the bottom of the rib cage, we need to have some good extension all the way through that region. So pretty much from there to there, we need to get some good extension through that upper back area in order to get our shoulders up. If we do not get that good extension through there, our shoulders cannot get into that elevated position. A lot of times what will happen is those shoulders will compensate and actually become what we call hypermobile with a little bit of extra motion in there because that upper back loses its motion. Going down the arm, typically we don't have a whole lot going on in that elbow area, but what we do get is the hand in that wrist area. There's a lot of little small bones all through there. We need to get some decent amount of motion in through that wrist area in order to get into that wrist extension position and still being able to keep a good grip on the bar so we're not just rolling onto our fingertips. If you're in a front squat, if you're doing multiple front squats, it's not a bad thing to necessarily be in, but if you need to keep a grip on the bar because you're doing clean and jerks, you need to keep that grip. So you need to be able to get some good extension through that wrist area, which doesn't entail kind of that joint, that whole joint area there. So we're looking at kind of that whole region in that area. So that's kind of the major joint areas that play a role. We need some good mobility through that upper back area and some decent mobility through that wrist area. If we don't have mobility there and there, the shoulder and the elbow tend to have to take up the brunt of that motion, which can cause some problems. Now, adding on some muscle groups. There we go. All right, so now adding on the muscles. In order for this elbow to bend fully, we need some good extension through that triceps muscle group. If we don't have good extension or we don't have good flexibility in this group, then we lose that full flexion of that elbow. If we don't have good flexion of that elbow, then we also have some limitations in that wrist and shoulder, making those work a little bit harder. Also, because of where this guy attaches, if the triceps is tight, we may not be able to get those elbows up because this is holding on there as well. Along with that, we have these rotator cuff muscles. You can see because of where they attach in that area. When we bring that arm up into an elevated position, these have to lengthen. If these are tight as well, we have trouble getting those up. Typically what I see is not necessarily these lacking the ability to get the arm up, but the arm doesn't come through as quickly. So when you're doing those heavy cleans, you need to get those elbows through quick. You may lag on one side, which can cause an improper landing of that bar onto your collarbone, causing some bruising through there. So that's another problem I see quite frequently. The other one that can hold from getting those arms up as well, add one more layer here, is those lats. So that's your big lat muscle. Because of where it attaches, same thing. If we're trying to bring that arm up and this muscle's tight, kind of holding it back this way, it can have the same problem getting those arms through quickly. So tightness through those triceps, the lats, and that rotator cuff can cause difficulty getting that arm in that front rack position. Now, because of the nerves that come down the arm as well, so let's clear off these muscles a little bit. What can happen, so the nerves are coming off of here, coming down the arm. Sometimes just because of tightness in that area, especially as we get to that wrist area, especially as we get down into here, if there is any sort of tightness in through this area here, we can get what we call neural tension through there, just some discomfort from those nerves pulling. So if you've never worked on trying to obtain that front rack position and getting more mobility and more flexibility in order to get there, then it's definitely something you want to work on. If you are newer to CrossFit and just have never gone to that position before, it's definitely an uncomfortable position when you start, but it should get better with time if you just keep working on getting that motion, especially in the wrist. That just takes time to get comfortable in that position. So that's kind of the summary for quick summary of the anatomy involved with it. Over the next probably about 7 to 10 days, I'm going to be going through some different mobility drills for the entire area, basically mobility for the upper back and the wrist, and then showing some ways to loosen up some of those tight muscles that can happen as well. So if you have any questions or comments on this, definitely leave those in the comment section below so I can get to those later. And as usual, if you have anything specific you want to address with me, feel free to reach out to me directly through Facebook Messenger. So like I said, I'll be back on tomorrow with some mobility stuff for you for the upper back. And until then, have a wonderful rest of your day. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.